Stop! Put down the tinsel and step away from the eggnog. If you were celebrating Christmas in Massachusetts in 1659, what you are doing right now would be a crime. I'm not talking about a noise complaint. I'm talking about a fine of 5 shillings. That is about a week's wages for a specialized craftsman back then, just for hanging a wreath. The war on Christmas wasn't started by a coffee cup design or a politician. It was started by the Christians themselves. Welcome to Voices from History. Today, we are peeling back the wrapping paper to reveal the dark, rowdy, and downright pagan origins of the holiday you think you know. We're talking about Roman frat parties, magic, poisonous plants, a wizard disguised as Santa, and the time the government literally banned joy. So, buckle up, you heathens. Let's start with the biggest lie of them all, the date, December 25th. The birth of Jesus, right? Well, if you actually open the Bible, there is zero mention of snow, December, or the 25th. In fact, shepherds don't graze their flocks at night in the dead of winter. They'd freeze. Most historians reckon Jesus was likely born in the spring or autumn, so why are we freezing our toes off in December? One word, Saturnalia. Imagine the purge, but with better food and togas. Saturnalia was the Roman festival honoring Saturn, the god of agriculture. For a week in December, the social order was flipped upside down. Slaves sat at the head of the table while their masters served them dinner. Gambling was legal, work stopped, and the streets were filled with drinking, feasting, and chaos. And right next to that, you had the festival of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. Celebrated on December 25th, it marked the sun fighting back the darkness of winter. When the early church tried to convert the Romans, they had a marketing problem. Nobody wanted to give up the best party of the year. So, the church did a brilliant rebrand. They said, keep the date, keep the feast, just change the name on the birthday card. Boom! Saturnalia becomes Christmas. If you're shocked that your advent calendar is technically Roman paganism, hit that like button right now. It helps us decode more history for you. Now, look at your living room. Is there a dead tree in the corner? Why on earth do we bring nature inside to watch it die slowly? This isn't Roman. This is straight up Germanic heavy metal history. Enter Yule. Long before ornament sales, ancient Germanic people celebrated Yule around the winter solstice. Winter was terrifying. Everything died. The sun vanished. But the evergreen tree, it refused to die. It stayed green when the world turned gray. Bringing evergreens inside was a form of sympathetic magic. It was a way to tell the universe, life will return. And that Yule log on your TV screen, that was originally a massive bonfire designed to ward off evil spirits and the encroaching darkness. But the greenery gets weirder. Let's talk about mistletoe. Today, it's a trap for awkward holiday kisses. To the Druids, it was a sacred parasite. It grew on oaks without touching the ground. They believed it had the power to cure infertility and ward off poison. But here's the kicker. Mistletoe is actually poisonous if you eat it. So please, kiss under it, but do not put it in your salad. Speaking of strange visitors, who is the fat man coming down your chimney? If you said Saint Nicholas, you're only half right. Before Santa had a sleigh, there was a Norse god named Odin. During Yule, Odin led the wild hunt across the sky. He had a long white beard. Sound familiar? He rode an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir. Over centuries, that 8-legged horse morphed into 8 tiny reindeer. And instead of terrifying peasants, the character softened into the gift giver, Saint Nick. But the DNA of the Viking Allfather is still in your mall, Santa. Before we get to the part where Christmas was literally illegal, I have a question. Do you prefer the scary ancient version of these legends or the cozy modern ones? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to Voices from History if you want to join our tribe of truth seekers. Okay, the twist you've been waiting for. The year is 1647. England. The Puritans, led by Oliver Cromwell, have taken over. They looked at Christmas, the drinking, the gambling, the pagan rituals, and they said, absolutely not. They didn't just frown upon it. Parliament passed a law banning the celebration of Christmas. Shops were forced to stay open on December 25th. Churches were locked shut. And if you were caught cooking a feast, fine. They believed the holiday was an excuse for carnal and sensual delights, which, to be fair, based on the history we just covered, they were kind of right. But the people didn't take it lying down. There were riots in the streets of Ipswich, Oxford, and Canterbury. People played football in the streets as an act of rebellion. These were known as the plum pudding riots. Imagine getting arrested for rioting over pudding. This ban lasted until 1660, when the monarchy was restored and everyone decided life was too short to be that miserable. So, as we wrap up, here is one final bizarre fact to chew on. The mince pie. Today, It's fruit and spices. But in the Tudor era, it was literal meat, mutton, beef, rabbit mixed with sugar and dried fruit. It was a status symbol. The more meat and sugar you had, the richer you were. So, Christmas is a patchwork quilt. It's Roman partying, Germanic nature worship, Viking mythology, and a dash of Victorian commercialism. And frankly, that makes it cooler. It's a holiday about survival, about lighting a fire when the world gets dark. So go ahead, light that tree, eat that cookie. You're keeping history alive. I want to hear from you. What is the weirdest tradition your family does? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. This is Voices from History. Don't let the fire go out.